This is my phylogenetic tree. A phylogenetic tree is a diagram that shows lines of evolutionary descent of different species, organisms, or genes from a common ancestor. Phylogenies are critical to understanding the theory of evolution holistically. Moreover, since these trees share a common ancestor, and ancestry is one of the main components and structural evidence that makes up evolution, one must understand phylogenies. So in that case, I have built a phylogenetic tree that consists of different makeup products. All of the makeup products on the right with the arrows pointing to them are the tree's OTUs, operational taxonomic units, which are derived of phenotypes, giving structure to the correct logical manner. To have a rooted tree, you must have an outgroup, and as you can see, this arrow is pointing to this tree's outgroup, which is body glitter. An outgroup is still an OTU. It has just diverged earlier than all the other OTUs, rooting the tree and thus depicting the ancestry relationship for the other OTUs. This outgroup has had a longer time to develop adaptations and over time began to diverge from the common ancestor of the in-group, which is the placement of the makeup. And as you can see here, this outgroup goes on the body, whereas the other makeup products go on the face. The outgroup is still related to the other OTUs through ancestry, however, the other OTUs have less phenotypic variances among them. At each divergence, there's a blue box which represents internal nodes, and as you can see here, all the internal nodes are underlined. An internal node is an ancestral linkage, also known as the most common ancestor between two OTUs. As you can see, the internal node between face and body is makeup, skin and eyes is face, foundation and primer is skin, liquid and powder is foundation, bronzer and blush is powder, concealer and contour is liquid, eye cream and poreless putty is primer, and lastly, eyeliner and mascara is eyes. Also, each internal node represents where cladogenesis occurs, one species becoming two. There are two different ways speciation occurs, anagenesis and cladogenesis. Anagenesis is a slow transition of one species into another, in other words, evolution within a lineage over time, and is represented through the horizontal branches, whereas cladogenesis involves the separation of a species into two or more groups. As you can see in this case, all of our groups are circled. There are 4 groups of 2 species, eyes, primer, liquid, powder, and eventually all of these groups are now their own separate species. The longer the branch, the more time evolution had to occur. For example, when comparing the branches for mascara and contour, the contour had less time to evolve. When looking at the extremes, mascara and eyeliner had the longest, and bronzer and blush had the shortest time out of all the others to evolve.